Welcome to the WindyCIty Rundown. Hi, and welcome to another great episode of the WindyCIty Rundown. I am Eric Avila. That is Jose Contreras. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining our show today. As always, make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platform, on Facebook, on YouTube.
No, we ain't doing that, Eric. Come on now. What up, everybody? Welcome to the WindyCIty Rundown. I almost said JCA podcast. The WindyCIty Rundown. I'm Jose Contreras. That's EA, the sports guy. Eric, a.k.a. Mr. Arsenal. Come all you Gunners. The Gunners came already, but on themselves, not on anyone else. Eric, how are you doing today?
That was pretty bad. That was horrible.
It was better than what you were doing.
I've had better days. I've had better days, but it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
Sorry, we both our teams got bounced from by PSG.
Yes.
Yes,
they did. Yes, they did.
It's funny because I was picking up the dirty laundry in my son's room, and Adrian was wearing the PSG jersey. I guess the last time he was here, Sunday. So yeah, sorry, Eric.
It's all good. It is all good. You know what? We got beaten by a better team, a better, I guess, fundamentally sound team. And to be quite honest, even I said that, Arsenal still had their chances to put at least not the game to bed, but to make the game a little bit more interesting in the first 20 minutes. They definitely created opportunities. They just, the tale of Arsenal season throughout the whole entire year this year is the fact that they don't have a legitimate goal scorer. They don't have that threat to put the ball in the back of the net. They don't have that. Yeah, they just don't. They just don't have it, my guy. They don't have it at all. And so yeah, that's the result we get. Lucky enough, we made it this far. We had an amazing 2 games against the biggest European team in Real Madrid. 4 weeks ago, and now it's it's the hope that kills you, my guy. And that's what I had. I had hope. I had high hopes, and unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. Although our opportunities were there, we could have made it 3-2, which made it very interesting. If Saka could have put the ball away in the back of the net by himself, nobody but himself, and no, that didn't happen. And 3-1 on aggregate, 2-1 the score. So it is. The season's over. There's no trophy coming our way. So. Yeah,
Arsenal lost. So did Barcelona lost too, which was
yesterday's game was
amazing, entertaining game.
Oh my god,
wild.
That game. I mean, look, if you're not a football fan or a diehard like I am, you're a casual watcher.
Same here.
And if I were to tell you to watch 2 games to kind of make you make you believe into the soccer games or stuff like that, the 2 games between Inter and Barcelona, bro, fucking amazing. It was beautiful. Both games were great. You've never seen a scoreline 7-6 on a 2-legged in a professional level of that magnitude.
Yeah. And that was the beauty of that 3-3 tie from game 1. Because from yesterday when it happened, it was yesterday, right? Was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Every goal meant something. Everything, it was back and forth. Oh man, crazy.
Dude,
crazy.
It was crazy, man. And to think top level, very top level of football of that quality, of that magnitude, my guy. Oh, dude, it was, dude. I put it on my post yesterday on my Facebook page. I said I want to apologize in advance that today's game between my Gunners and PSG wasn't going to be as entertaining as the game that was
Well,
yesterday.
that's a hard game to follow up for anybody.
For real. But, I mean, hey, kudos to the two teams that are going to the Champions League final at the end of the month. Inter Milan and PSG. And then your sister, my beautiful, wonderful, amazing girlfriend, got lucky that I will be available for Emily's birthday party for 2 hours on that day. Because boy, if that game happened, I best believe that I would not been anywhere in this realm of Earth when that game would be happening.
Who do you got? Who do you got winning that finals?
Oh, dude,
it's gotta be PSG, right? I don't think it's gonna be a shootout like it was with Barcelona.
No, honestly, PSG has ever since the turn of the calendar of 2025, they probably next to Barcelona, were the best teams in Europe. Like Moussa Dembele has been on a tear since the turn of the calendar year, probably scoring in almost in every single game that he has played and started with for PSG. And funny enough, Jose, we played against PSG in the group stage of this year with this whole new format of the Champions League, and we ended up beating them 1-0 at home. But it was a whole completely different team than it was, a few months back. And this team, the one thing about Inter that I love the most is that, and if you saw the games, dude, they never die. They never quit team. And it's probably every Italian team that comes and plays in a European tournament are like that. Even the Italians in the national tournament, they never quit. They are gritty. They fight hard, and as you can see, they can score goals at wills in Inter too. And
score at abundance. It's going to be a
very interesting game. I want to say PSG, but my soccer mind is really saying Inter Milan. I think they're more equipped to probably give PSG a harder, a more tougher battle than what Arsenal did in the last 2 games, bro. And that hurts for me as an Arsenal fan, but it is completely true. I think they're a little bit more complete. Barcelona was just on a whole nother level with the scoring, the scoring that they have on their attacking front. And any team is vulnerable with Barcelona, but they can also score too and put the ball in the back of the net. So it's going to be an interesting one at the end of the month, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. Another team, Eric, that scores that reminds me a lot of Inter that scores. It's never die, never quit team. It's the Chicago Cubs. This year has been that team. Score. Yeah. They score at abundance. In abundance. They don't quit. They don't give up. You think they're out, they come back.
Not for the last couple games though. That's for sure. The pitching has been very suspect. Last couple games.
We figured that much. We kind of seen like, hey, like this. Eventually, this pitching is gonna hurt the team. But offensively,
But see, the thing that I try to warn you guys. Wow, excuse me. The thing that I try to warn everybody and warn you, Jose, is the fact that the pitching wasn't all that great. And even now, losing Justin Steele for the whole entire year with Tommy John surgery, losing Shota Imanaga for the next 2-3 weeks with his hamstring injury.
That's tough.
And the bullpen who was very suspect coming into the season and is still and is even more suspect now.
Yep.
You can score runs as much as you can, but pitching has to be up there too as well. It has to be up to par with the offense. But dude, in all honesty, I think what we saw the first month was probably what the best of the Cubs can be, and I think now they're going to come back down to reality because I don't think they have the pitching to even.
But here's the thing:
sustain a healthy enough lead in the NL Central.
The thing is, we got the toughest part of the schedule out the way.
Yeah, that's nice and cute and all, but that doesn't mean anything. That's based on last year's record.
I'm not, and that's where I was going to get into. I'm not saying that, that's done, so we're good. What I'm saying is, I don't see us losing too much more games going forward because we're getting into the easier part of it. So, I mean, if we can get past this, get into the summer around the trade deadline, Shota comes back, you know what I mean? We'll have maybe who knows what we can do, then. But what I'm saying is looking pretty good. I still think we make the playoffs.
I think the Cubs are in a shoe-in to make the playoffs, as the NL Central hasn't really been great, this year. I think the Cubs have a 4, maybe 3 or 4 game lead on the Milwaukee Brewers, they're getting healthy now. They're about to probably become a little bit more tougher to play as the season progresses. But even then, so Jose, I still feel like the Cubs have a lot of moves to make. And again, I still find there's a reason why I held back on hopping on that bandwagon of actually truly being supporting for the Chicago Cubs. Like there was something in me that was telling me like, hold on. And this is the reason why, man. And yesterday, what was it? It was yesterday's game that they went into the extra innings and they gave up 9 runs in the 11th inning, my guy. Like that's worrisome right there. That's troubling. And then today they ended up losing, 3-1 to the that lost the series to the Giants.
Yeah.
And it's gonna come down to like how much can pitching help the Chicago Cubs, or what can you get off of pitching from both ends, from the starters that are now up, rising on their roll because their top 2 starting pitchers are down. And what can the bullpen do? Something, anything, something. And so far the answer has been no for the last 4 or 5 games recently for the Chicago Cubs, and with the starting of the season. But right now, when all the starting pitchers are down, or Shota and Steele being gone, and the bullpen, bro, like it's scary. And the Cubs need to score like 15 runs in order for them to win a game, to at least to make somewhat to be relaxed when it comes to the pitching.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. They're still 3 games ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers, and that could change. I mean, the Brewers are coming back. That could change in a heartbeat.
Of course.
St. Louis and Cincinnati is also not that far behind. So I hear you there.
Mm-hmm.
But I do trust this team. I trust this coach.
I don't.
I think they're gonna hold their own. But it's the bullpen is gonna hurt them, and then if they do get into the playoffs,
mm-hmm.
they're a first round exit. There's no way they advance. Once they go against great pitching, it's over with.
Mm-hmm.
So.
100%, dude. Like, and that's the one thing.
Yeah, that's everything gets tougher in the playoffs, and yes, you can score a lot, but when you're committed to facing good pitching, because that's all you're going to be facing in the playoffs, mm-hmm. it only gets tougher from there. So I'm not saying I see this team doing something. Mm-hmm. What I am saying is, because the schedule is going to only get easier from here on out, mm-hmm. I can see them holding their own. It's just.
It's gonna be tough, bro. Like, and
it could be false hope up until the trade deadline. And I hope Jed Hoyer and I hope Tom Ricketts they really lock in and do something to help our pitching. Because if not, I agree with what you're saying. It's gonna be tough.
Into the comments, CP. What up, CP? Oh, by the way, guys, the link is in the comment section if you guys want to join us. I'll post it right back up too as well if you guys want to join our show. CP goes, it's not a bandwagon, sir. That's your team. That's true. It is my team, but what I mean by like hopping on that bandwagon or hopping on that wagon is the fact that that the true support, like being happy-go-lucky, like Jose was, like I'm still resentful, or I'm still holding back on that because I don't trust this team 100%. Like, yes, they've been hot. They've been probably the second, third, fourth best team in all of baseball right now. But I've seen the flaws. I've been seeing the flaws. Shit, I'm paying $20 a month to watch the fucking Cubs on Marquee or listening to him. So. Like,
yeah, he's paying $20 for me to watch my Marquee. Like,
that's stupid. I'm not gonna read the other comment that's right there because that's blasphemous. That bullpen has been such a problem for the Cubs.
First off, what's going on, man?
Nah, Sulu, what's up, bro? I miss you. Shout out for all the way up there from Milwaukee. That bullpen has been such a problem for the Cubs for years because their starters are so awesome. The offense has been hot, 100%. Hap, Tucker, Bush, Nico, Kelly all have been amazing has been amazing so far, but they have to score so much runs. Yeah, don't forget Seiya. Seiya also too is actually having a decent year too as well. Yeah. Him having the support.
And then our boy PCA, baby.
PCA as well. Like this team, and he said shout out to Pete Crow too. 20 a month is insanity. Yeah, dude, it is crazy. Like the Cubs are still, even though they got their ass whipped the last couple games, I think they're still the highest scoring or the best run differential in all of baseball still, and it's crazy to say that. It's crazy to think that, but yeah, that's how much runs they have been scoring. And I think a couple weeks ago, Jose, last week, they were on pace on being better than the 2016 Cubs that won the World Series. I'm not saying this team is World Series potential by any stretch of the imagination, my guy. This team is not even close to the pitching. That pitching staff, that pitching rotation, that bullpen even
crazy.
Was crazy. And this Cubs team doesn't even have 3/4 of that. You know what I mean? That's how.
Your worst starting pitcher was Lackey, who was
Right,
already,
and that was your fifth
champion in his
starter.
own right.
Right.
It's wild.
Exactly, and that was your fifth starter on that rotation. So that it goes to show like the depth of pitching that they have.
Yeah,
And
three aces in that team.
Even when you go into the bullpen with Edwards Jr. at that time, you know, Marmol at that time too as well, and you know they didn't get Chapman into the trade deadline, but even then, so like that also improved and bolster up that bullpen. So,
but
like, dude,
you talk about the professor. You're talking about
Kyle Hendricks. Exactly, Kyle Hendricks, Jake Arrieta, John Lester. You know, just to name the three. You know, like you said, John Lackey. Right now, I'm missing the other starter. Arrieta, Hendricks, Lester, Lackey.
I think Lackey was the fourth, but still,
even the other one.
I don't remember either. Regardless, it was a squad.
It was a squad. It was a squad. It's gonna hit me right now. Sulu said, "LOL." CP says all the Cubs games are football scores 24-21. You're not lying.
Dude,
you know. Yes, Hamill. Thank you. That's the one. Who had the worst fan base in MLB?
The White Sox. Easy.
The Dodgers. No, we said Lackey. No, for sure. It was Arrieta, it was Lester, it was Kyle Hendricks, it was John Lackey
and Hamill.
I think Cole Hamill. No, not Cole Hamill.
Cole Hamill or Mark Hamill. I don't know.
Let me see. Dude, it's gonna hit me. The fact that I'm looking this up, it pisses me off.
Yeah, but it was a while.
It's almost damn near 10 years.
Yeah.
Keep going. All right, let me see. Keep talking when I look.
I barely remember what I had for breakfast this morning. You know, damn. Anyways, they're still a fun team to watch. They're either going to win by 10 or lose by 10, or like what CP says, it's 24-21. Looks like a damn football score. But that's good. Like it's great to see the offense. It's just like, how do we contain the other team? You know what I mean? Zool says, after last Sunday, I personally think White Sox does for sure.
They're the. You know what, bro? Look, I gotta give them at least. You gotta give them some credit. They're there. You know what I mean? They're there. I actually found it. Hold on. They're there. They're doing the best they can. And honestly, this year, even though they're worse than last year, I feel like they have some step of the future in the Chicago White Sox with 2 or 3 of their players. Yeah. I can't think of their players' name, but at least they have something to look forward to for the next for this upcoming season. And once they get their shortstop, what's his name? Is it Montgomery? I think that's the shortstop name that's coming up. That's in AAA right now. I think once he comes up, I think you're going to see more and more Sox fans going to the games because they want to see the future. Because at this point, that's all that they're banking on to be better in the next 5. You know, it's going to take them like 6 years before they become good.
Well, that game was horrible yesterday.
It was. Let me see. So it's Jake Arrieta, right?
Yeah.
Jason Hamill. Yeah, it was Jason Hamill. That's who it was. Yeah, so it's Jake Arrieta, John Lester, Kyle Hendricks, Jason Hamill, and then and like we said, what the fuck was his name? John Lackey. Yep. So yeah. What does he say? You guys are too old. You guys are so old. Hell yeah, you ain't lying. CP, they ain't gonna do nothing but trade Colson too. I don't. Shit. I mean, if they traded Fernando Tatis for fucking James Shields, and then I can see that too as well. You know, that was probably the worst trade of all time for the Chicago White Sox, trading away Fernando Tatis. Imagine him at least doing a little something with the Chicago White Sox at the time where they got good. Now, granted, they wouldn't have Tim Anderson, or Tim Anderson would have been there and he would have been the second baseman. Who knows? Instead of Nicky Two Strikes. But even then, so like that was a really bad trade. And look where Tatis is now. Like, you really had to bring up Shields trade. I had to, because it's
gonna haunt Sox fans for a long time, especially where they're at now, what Tatis is doing,
where they've been at for years.
But yeah, it's gonna haunt them. But it sucks. I mean, I don't know, man. Sox and Sox fans, Bulls fans, we're all in the same boat here. So
Dude,
I definitely empathize with you guys.
the only thing that would make me feel better right now, Jose, is if I get an alert from any of the sports, any of my sports app, and say that Jerry Reinsdorf only sold the Chicago Bulls, and then my mood would completely change. Like
Or
I would probably be the most like I would forget what happened to Arsenal today. But like
Michael Reinsdorf, the Reinsdorf family suddenly fell off a cliff, and
it was something.
they didn't die, but because of their injuries, they can't run the team anymore. You know what I mean?
They sustained so many things.
That's not good. That's not good.
That's the only thing that would make me happy right now, my guys. Like if all of a sudden, like there's like, oh, the Reinsdorf sold or selling the Chicago Bulls. Like that's the only thing that would make me happy. To be 100% honest with you. Actually going back to the Chicago Cubs, no, they are not, they lost the lead of the runs differentials. The Mets have the best run differential of all of baseball. No, I'm sorry, the Yankees with plus. I'm sorry, the Tigers with plus 63. The Cubs have the fourth with plus 59. They only have a 3-game lead above the Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers, and a 3.5-game lead against up on the Cincinnati Reds. But yeah, Jose, like we were talking about, dude, like they need a lot. And then the unfortunate part about it that they have to dig deep, or they have to not obliterate, but really take a big chunk of the farm system to get the players that they need. I'm one of the guys that buy low, sell real low on a player who knows has a very high potential. But also trying to see what you get from, the one of the teams that you thought that were going to be really good. That's not right now. Like, for example, the Texas Rangers, the Baltimore Orioles. Those are two teams that you thought they were going to be up there. And right now they're starting a really, really bad start. Shit, I don't know. After that, who else you got? The Marlins, another team that's on the fence like that. The good thing about this, Jose, is that we're at May 7th. There's still a lot of baseball left. But a lot of baseball left with all these injuries can also mean you can lose this lead that you have of 3 and 3.5 games above your team in the Central. And now you're going to dig yourself into a hole like, okay, you're probably going to panic trade or make some moves that off of panic because you know what you have is great. You know what you have, offensively can help you take you to the next level. But now you have to dissect a lot more of your farm system, and you might make this bad trade that, like, hey, at this time it's to help the team right now, and it doesn't pan out in the future. Like that's the one thing that gets me, that I'm worried about the Chicago Cubs that they might do.
Let's not forget the Kyle Tucker thing too. If
Yeah.
you know he's not going to resign and walk away, you might as well trade. Like there's going to be questions around that. Like, hey, like
100%.
he's playing really good right now. Should we trade him? What can we get for him? We can get a haul back from him right now. Like you know what I mean? So, but at the same time, it's like, does that hurt the team?
Oh, dude, but
it's a double-edged sword.
all right, but I don't think trading. See, if you trade Kyle Tucker just because of for future reference, then I'm going to be really, really pissed. I am, because of the trade that they did with the Arizona
But would you be pissed if you know he's not coming back? So let's say, for example, the Cubs for whatever reason don't want to pay him the money and give him the years he wants. Then it's like,
why make the move in the first place?
No, I get you. I get that, right? But now you're here. So like you could only move forward. You can't go backward anymore. So he's here now. So I wouldn't be upset if they knew 100% they weren't going to resign him. Because then Eric, we lose him for nothing. Then we had him for a good time, not a long time, which is fine. But at least get something back. No, you can't be that mad.
No, it'll piss me off. It would definitely piss me off because, of the player that we lost for Kyle Tucker, the trade that we made for Kyle Tucker, like that's what pissed me off. Like you gave up a very young asset in Cam Smith for Kyle Tucker for a 1-year deal that you didn't even make him. He didn't even last 1 year. He only lasted a few months. Like I get you're in that camp, and like if you've mentioned it so many times and plenty of times, Jose, that you sell your best player at the highest point of their
only if the other option is worse. Because I agree with CP. If I had the pen, I would resign him. I'll give him whatever money he wants. I would resign him. He's young. He's going to be a star. He'll be your star.
29 is not that young.
But he's still in his prime. He has good
Yeah,
years.
like you got like four 4 years left of his prime.
Right. So yeah, right. But that's what I'm saying. It's a tough situation to be in because again, if you let him walk, then again, like then it's a what if. Like then we had him, we could have got something for him.
But see, this is why I get it. The Cubs finally have a top 5 player in baseball in their roster. I don't think the Cubs have even came close to have a top 5-10 player in their system in like 10-15 years. Whatever even this 15-16 Cubs, like Chris Bryant wasn't up there yet. Even though he won the MVP, Chris Bryant wasn't there. Anthony Rizzo wasn't there. In all of baseball, they weren't there. Kyle Tucker is there, and Kyle Tucker is here right now, and it's been a very long time since the Cubs have a top 10 player in their farm system and arguably top 5, or not in the farm system, but in their major league roster. But this is why, like, once you trade away Cam Smith for Kyle Tucker, like, you needed to sign Kyle Tucker right away. It doesn't help that, who was it? Juan Soto got $700,000 billion, whatever it was, however much he got. And it also didn't help that Vlad Guerrero Jr., who is not even at Kyle Tucker's level, got paid what he got paid with the Toronto Blue Jays before the season started. And now you're putting yourself in a predicament where, yes, he's showing out, but now the money is like at $6-7 million, six or $700 million to sign him for a guy who's 29, and you only probably might have like 5 years of his contract guaranteed.
But that's what I'm saying, because with all you just said, there's going to be teams throwing money around and years around just for a player like that. And like CP says, he's only 28, and this is his prime years. This is where you would do something like that. You would give him that type of money. And if the Cubs, if I'm Jed Hoyer and I'm talking to Tom Ricketts, and Tom Ricketts is telling me, hey, we're not going to do that. We're not going to sign him. We're not going to give him the money in years he wants. I gave you full authority to do whatever you want to do. You want to keep him for this year and see if you guys can win something, great. But Jed Hoyer is smarter than we are. I'm pretty sure he sees the team for what it is and knows it's not a championship contending team. Even though they're playing their asses off and they're scoring all these points, it's not a championship winning team. So if you're Jed Hoyer, how are you not tempted to go to a team that's willing to give him the money, willing to give him the years, and be like, hey, I need your best pitcher, or at least one of your best pitchers, whether it's farm system or major league roster, and another really good hitter or player. For someone like Tucker, I don't see why that couldn't be possible.
Yeah, but again, then you're giving us that false narrative of like, then you're really starting to piss off the Cubs fans who for years and years and years after 2016.
Not if you get something back that's going to
but it's
help your team.
It's stupid. It's dumb. It's really dumb because the Cubs shouldn't even be putting themselves in that position to trade away your best asset for future assets that you won't even see in the league for like in the next 3-4 years.
That doesn't make sense. Think of it as in Bulls terms. Think of it in the Chicago Bulls. We wanted to trade DeMar DeRozan for something even better after a really good year, right? Nobody was mad that they traded him because we knew, hey, this team's not going to win a championship. This team's not as good as we thought it would be, as we thought it was going to be. So we need to get rid of him. We just wish we would have got back more. And here you are with an even better player. And again, we're already here. It sucked that we're here. I agree with you that we shouldn't be here in the first place, but we are. So it's like now there's only two options. You either resign him and build around him, which I think they can do, and they can do pretty well. Or if Tom Ricketts is like, no, I don't want to do that, then yeah, you could be mad at Tom Ricketts. But if Jed Hoyer does his job and gets something back in return that's going to be beneficial for the team, I don't see why that's an issue.
Nah, dude, that's a big problem because for the whole entire season, like from the start that the Cubs had offensively, for you just to trade it away like nothing just because you were afraid of him not signing, an extension with the Chicago Cubs, and then you're trading away assets. And this whole season was just a lost narrative at the end of the day. Like we've already been crying. We've been yelling from the mountaintops. I've been yelling from the mountaintops, and I'm not the only one about, the spending or what is the route of the Chicago Cubs. And if we're going to be the team that just gets good players just to sell them, just to see if we get something to crack in the near future, just so we can be cheaper and not have a payroll that goes above and beyond so-and-so and not compete with the big boys in a big market city. No, I'm tired of it because
I
it's not.
agree.
It's not. We're not in that position, and we should never be in that position. The
But we are.
Chicago Cubs, for the amount of money that they make, for the amount of press that they make, for the amount of national attention that the Cubs get, not only here in the United States but also internationally, as you saw in the Tokyo series against the Dodgers, during the spring training, the Cubs have a name. The Cubs are one of the top teams in baseball, and you cannot say, or you cannot tell me or come up to me and tell me that, well, if we can't sign them, let's just get something. No, because at the end of the day, you're gotta fucking compete. And if you're not competing, then why have a team in the first place? Again, now you're really pissing me off, and I'm already not in a good mood, Jose, because this is the same thing that I was telling you in the offseason about the Chicago Cubs. And you telling me that you want to trade Kyle Tucker because, oh, you're afraid of him not signing, then fucking throw the money. But they're not going to. So this is just, I can't even think straight right now, dude.
Look, all I'm saying, all I'm trying to say is that you can make. I agree with you 100% that yes, best case scenario is we throw him the money, we give him the years that he wants, and then we still go out and find a way to get better players, we throw more money because there's no cap in baseball. You could be like the Dodgers, you could be like the. I get that, but we're not that. So I'm just trying to make a good situation out of a shitty one because again, the alternative. Because again, the alternative is what? Right, Ricketts is not going to spend the money. So what's the alternative? We lose Tucker for nothing, and then next year we're worse. We're worse. When in reality, you could have been the same or better depending on what you get back. So again, I'm with you 100% on what they should be doing, but you and I both know they're not going to be doing that. So at the same time, it's like, okay, if you're not going to do the best option, at least do the number B. If you're not going to do A, do B, and trade him and not lose him, or at least just not lose him for nothing. Either sign him or trade him, but don't lose him for nothing because then we get it's that's worse. That's the third best option.
Yeah, and then you traded away your best prospect for him. Like that's where the problem begins.
But you can get back a better prospect in any position. Because he's that type of player that will warrant it.
One thing about prospects is like you don't know if they're going to pan out. And the Cubs had one that they traded away in Cam Smith. They traded him away for Kyle Tucker because
they can get something else. I mean, you didn't know what Cam Smith was going to be. He could have been good in the minor leagues and come back up, and you don't know that. You don't know. He could have a good year, his first year come, and then the next couple of years, you know what I mean? Like I get it. I get what you're saying, but use that same logic. You could. He warrants great players. You can get something else. That's all I'm saying. I'm not for trading him. I don't want that to be the narrative here. I don't want to trade him. I want them to re-sign him. I want them to, what you said, pony up, give him the money, and then go look for other players and give them money. I want them to be like the Yankees. I want them to be like the Dodgers and just spend and spend and spend. That's what I want.
You know who the owner is? Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen,
bro. That's my argument here, though. That I do know who the owner is. That's why I'm saying you either sign him or trade him. There's no in between. Do not lose him. That's the worst option available. And you're saying you'll be pissed if they trade him. No, I'd be pissed if they lose him for nothing. Then I'm if you be pissed if they trade him, then you should be furious if they lose him for nothing.
I'll just be pissed. Period. I'm pissed. I've been pissed. I've been mad at the Chicago Cubs throughout the whole entire offseason, bro. You know this.
But
I've been mad at the Cubs for years.
But you should be at least agreeing with me that trading him and getting something in return.
Yeah, but see, that's not what I want to hear.
It's better than losing. Yes, but still. But the argument is that. That's my argument. That's my only argument is that I just don't want them to lose him for nothing because he is a player that you can get so much back for. That's all I'm trying to say.
You'll be stupid. Let's still be stupid. Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube, guys. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all the good stuff. All the good places on the World Wide Web, guys. Make sure you follow us. Hit the little bell on our Facebook page just to get notified when our shows are live. And join us in our show, just like CP, just like Sulu. If you guys have to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, we're talking about the Chicago Cubs and we're talking baseball right now. So, Jose, changing the subject real quick, talk about the Chicago Bears. The rankings, the preseason rankings after the draft came out for the Chicago Bears for the entire NFL football. After pre-draft, and just know that next week, is it next week or in 2 weeks? The meatheaded of all meathead conversation in sports is going to happen when the schedule release comes out. So they did this in a perfect timing. But Jose, do you know in what position the Chicago Bears are ranked this preseason?
I was watching it. I was watching the rankings on social media, and I was like, they got to be a top 15 team, right? That's what I was telling myself. They got to be a top 15 team, and I don't remember if they were 16 or 15, but I know they're one of the two. So they were either just out of the top 15 or they were right at 15, and I think they were 16. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they landed at 16. And to me, okay, that I feel like that's where they should be. They're respected. We don't know if they're going to be in the top 10 or the bottom 10. So right in the middle seems right to me, right? Because on paper, you look at the team, you're like, they should be a top 10 team or at least a top 15 the least, right? But at the same time, we've had hype seasons before, off seasons, and it just came to bite us in the ass. So that's the thing about the Bears. They're usually a good team or a bad team. There's really no in between. But if I'm not mistaken, they're either 16 or 15.
All right. Do you want to know? Do you want to know do you want to do the top 10 or you want to know the Bears rankings first?
Just give me the Bears rank. Am I right? It's one of the two, no?
16.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. That's what I remember. I was telling myself because I was watching the rankings where it was going from like 32 down, and I was like, "There's no way they're in the 20s." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "They got to be top 15." And then when I saw them at 16, I was like, "Okay, that's fair. That's fair." I would have put them at 15, but they put them at 16, which is fair.
I am actually surprised they're in the top 20. To be honest with you,
no, top 16. They're in the top
20. They're in
the
top
20. Yeah,
top 20. Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Surprised.
Give me the teams that are before them. We don't need to care. Who cares about what's after them? But give me the teams that's before them, and let's see if we agree or disagree.
So at number 15 is the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I thought the Bears are better than the Niners.
At 14, the Houston Texans.
That's fair. I'll keep them there.
The Chargers at 13.
Yep, that's fair. I'll keep them there.
Bengals at 12.
Oh, Bengals should be higher in my book, but okay.
Broncos at 11.
Yeah, I would put the Bengals in front of the Broncos. I understand why, because the Bengals defense was trash. But I still I think the Bengals are a better team still.
Yeah, especially with the weapons and the quarterbacks that they have. I get what you're saying.
But I agree with them being over the Bears. Yes.
Yes, those are the teams and then we're already cracking into the top 10.
Yeah. So no, I say all the teams but the 40. I would swap the Bears and the Niners. I just think the Niners. I think I just see them continue to take a step back. I don't believe in Brock Purdy like I did. Their wide receiving core doesn't look as good. Their running back core. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, if he comes back, great. I just feel like that team took a step back, a huge step back. I would just swap them. I think everybody else is cool. I would just put the Bears 15 and the Niners at 16.
Okay. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of question marks, especially with the other fan base and everything like that. But I could see why they're ahead of the Steelers right now. The Steelers don't have a quarterback,
right?
They just traded George Pickens today to the Cowboys, didn't they?
They're taking a step back too.
They're taking a step back, right? They got DK Metcalf,
yeah,
but still no quarterback. And I guess whatever happened, situation with Aaron Rodgers or whatever is going on, I could see why they're ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're also ahead of the Arizona Cardinals, which is a little bit kind of a head scratcher for some people because defensively they're a tad bit better than the Chicago Bears. Quarterback, obviously, whatever you think about Kyle Murray is whatever you think about Kyle Murray. But that's that one team that's like on the fringe, like the Chicago Bears, where like they can have that one good year because they have playmakers around them. Like, still can't think of the offensive players that they have. I think they have the tight end McBride, and I can't think of the wide receivers.
I think it's just the quarterback. I think the quarterback makes a difference.
But
Caleb Williams over Kyler Murray. I think that's the only reason why they're above him.
Another team that's kind of, again, I could see them above this team, the Seattle Seahawks. I could see it. I understand why they got what's his name from the Vikings last year, Sam Darnold, as their quarterback up over there. They lost DK Metcalf. they're doing a lot of changes up there,
Yep.
up in Seattle. So
They're even
I
talking about they might lose Kenneth Walker.
they're thinking about trading him too as well. And I'm surprised that the Bears names even popped up for Kenneth Walker too as a potential trade. So
I mean,
that's
he's
a
a
little.
great running back. He just got to stay healthy. That's all. The only issue is
I mean, he did. I mean, last year was his only year that he missed most of the game, most of his majority of the games, anyways. And this is only his third or fourth year, so it's like he's still rather young for that. But the Cowboys is an interesting one to me. I get it. There's a lot of Cowboys hate out there. There's a lot of Cowboys, but they're 20th.
That's normal. No, that's fine. They took a huge step back, and I just think it's Jerry Jones. Like
you think that's what it is? That was going to be my question. Like, do you think it's because of the owner instead of the team, and not the team?
He's the GM. He's also the GM, and his decisions are just very questionable. There's no coincidence that they've only gotten worse.
Right.
He doesn't know what he's doing. I'm shocked that he still thinks he could manage a team that way. It's wild to me.
But even though they kind of had one of the best grades in the draft this year too, as well, and plus they got George Pickens. They still have a top 3 wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb, a top 15 quarterback, maybe top 10 in Dak Prescott when healthy. The defense is still there. It just depends on what Michael Parsons, if they're going to throw them or not.
You got to figure out what you're. It's all about coaching too, and
yeah.
Who was it? Kellen Moore was that who?
No, I thought it was Brian Schottenheimer.
Brian Schottenheimer, yeah, my bad. Schottenheimer is their coach, and that was just kind of like a crazy pick.
A little scratch of the head. Yeah, I understand. I hear you.
And it's because it's a yes man. It's somebody, and that was the issue with the Bears for so long. And you can have all the talent in the world, but if all you're looking for is yes men, and you want to be the coach too, Jerry Jones, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I don't get it.
I hear you. You want to do the top 10 real quick or no?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, you want to go from 10? Let's go to 10-1, right?
Yeah, 10-1.
Who's number 10? Who do you think is number 10?
Number 10. I'm trying to think of the teams. The Browns, no?
Nope. The Browns.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns are number 10.
They're gonna be a good team. What number were they?
I'm still scrolling down. This guy said the Browns. The Browns are ranked 28th.
Yeah, I overshot them.
You did by a long shot, bro. They got Joe Flacco. They traded Kenny Pickett. They drafted 2 quarterbacks in Shedeur Sanders and the other kid. I forgot his name. In the same year. They still have Deshaun Watson. Right?
I'm sorry, the Bucks. Oh, I fucked up. I meant the Bucks. I'm thinking about wait, who? No. That's on me. I fucked up. I'm thinking the Bucks. I said the Browns. The Bucks. My bad.
No, it's not. It's the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm over here thinking about wait, why did they the Browns? And then you started naming players. I'm like, wait, that's not who they got. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm over here thinking. I'm like, I didn't hear Baker Mayfield. Like, what do you mean, Shedeur Sanders?
This guy over here. Oh my god, no, it's the Minnesota Vikings.
The Bucks. Vikings. Okay. I forgot about
to me, I think it's a little too high. I get why though. They got a decent defense. Offensive line is still great. They have the best wide receiver in the game in Justin Jefferson, right? They got that. But the thing is that they don't have a quarterback yet, and I don't know how much faith they have in JJ McCarthy, or if even JJ McCarthy's even ready. Who they used the first round draft pick last year on it, losing Sam Darnold, who was just perfect, I guess, last year for what's his name up there? What's his coach's name? What's the coach's name up there? What's the coach's name?
Man, I don't know. I'm not in football season right now, bro. I can't tell you.
But yeah, he just fit this. It was just a perfect storm last year for the Minnesota Vikings. But yeah, they're at number 10. At number 9, I'm gonna make it real easy for you. It's still in the same division.
Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Packers at 9.
Which makes sense because they have a quarterback that's there that although he may not be the best quarterback, but he's better than the quarterback they have in Minnesota. I see why you put them at number 9 over the Vikings. Going back to the Vikings, it's the coaching. It's the system they have that keeps them in the top 10. Even if JJ McCarthy does come back and it is healthy, they should still be a good team because of the coaching staff and because of the system they have going there. So I wouldn't sleep on the Vikings. That the Packers make sense because of the unknown in the quarterback position for the Vikings. I understand why you put the Packers at number 9. So I
And
agree.
they also got, they also made their first 2 draft picks wide receivers too. So
they're doing what they should have done with Aaron Rodgers with Jordan Love. So that's a good sign for them.
100%. Who's at number 8?
Is it the Bucks? It has to be the Bucks now.
No, sir. It is the Los Angeles Rams. They are at number 8.
Really? Oh, I would have put them higher. I think the Rams should be 6.
I think you probably given a little bit of the age
for Stafford
right there. You lost Cooper Kupp. You're getting an older Matthew Stafford, who's probably like in the end of his career. Also Puka Nacua is coming off a very injury-prone season. Defense is not really there, but it's still gritty enough to get you to win some games too as well. And it's just a lot of up and down. Obviously, again, I think they're only up there because of the coaching. Sean McVay up there. There's the only reason why that they're just only 2-3 years removed from a Super Bowl. So you really have to kind of like, okay, they're there because we know what we can get from the Los Angeles Rams, but they are not really better than the next teams that are above them. That's for sure. And at number 7, Jose, is
the Bucks.
Yes, the Bucks are at number 7.
They got to be there somewhere. I agree.
At number 6, who do you think is at number 6?
Commanders.
Yes, sir. Commanders are at number 6. Traded for Laremy Tunsil. They also traded for Deebo Samuel too as well. On top of that, so that's more weapons for. Yeah, that's more weapons for what's his face at quarterback over there, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Is it just right for the Commanders? Should they be higher? Should they be just a tad bit lower?
No, I think it's right. I think it's just right.
Commanders at 6. What do you think is at 5?
The Chiefs.
No, sir.
No.
The
Chiefs should. I think the Chiefs should even be top 5. So I'm surprised that they're even higher than 5.
Yes, sir. At number 5 becomes the last
Chargers.
Nope, the last member of the NFC North.
The Lions. Wow, really? They're 5?
They're number 5.
That's shocking. Damn, they have the. Damn.
Yeah, I think the only reason I think the Lions are at number 5 is simply because of what they lost. Again, coaching on who they lost, on what they lost, and Ben Johnson, and also the defensive coordinator too, as well for the Detroit Lions. It's still going to be a work in progress. They don't know what they're going to get. Obviously, they got a lot more better with the draft class this year, getting the defensive tackle. At Williams, I think that was what that they got. It's just, again, even though they still got Dan Campbell, it's still going to be a lot of tinkering with the offense, a new play caller, a new defensive play calling too as well. So I think that's the only reason why. They lost battle.
I'll tell you what, and let me just say this real quick before we move on. The rivalry in the NFC North is going to be a lot more fun because you're starting to see the hate from these other teams. The only team that we haven't heard any really hate from was the Vikings. They're staying in their lane. But the Lions have been talking nothing. They've been
as they
nothing
should.
but big mad and talking so much since Ben Johnson left. Like, they are mad. They are mad, and they're hating on the Bears. And the Packers, we've never seen the Packers do what they did, like, publicly. They're always like big brother. You know what I mean? They're always like, man, who gives a fuck about the Bears? They're not on our radar. They're not on our level. We don't care. They don't mention us. It's always us mentioning them. It's always us trying to bother them. The fact that they did what they did during the draft, to me, tells me they respect the Bears in a way. They're looking at them like, fuck. You know what I mean? Or,
oh my gosh, shit.
I've never seen that before.
It's a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah, like you would think they will go after the Lions, who are the juggernaut in the division. Yeah. But you're going after the Bears. It's crazy. So both, I would say this, it's going to be a fun season in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, we still got to play the games and see how the schedule plays out. Yeah. You know, at number 4, who you got at number 4?
Well, it's got to be the Chiefs. There's no way the top 3.
The Buffalo Bills are at number 4.
Way. There's no way, bro. These people be riding fucking Patrick Mahomes' dick. What is going on here? They are not that good. I see the Chargers winning the division over the Chiefs this year. There's no way the Chiefs are top 3. There's no way you got the Bills. Dude, Josh Allen's going to go off, especially after the movie Haley Steinfeld just did. There's no way. No way. It's wild.
Yeah, Bills are at number 4. At number 3,
the Ravens.
No, the Chiefs.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, if at this point it's like fuck.
The Chiefs are at number 3.
What the fuck?
I mean, they got somewhat better in the positions that they need to get big, but again, at the same time, you got Patrick Mahomes there. They're coming off a season where
I get it.
they went to the Super Bowl again. This time they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, and a team that they're always going to be there, no matter what, because of said head coach and said quarterback that's on there. You could put as much hate as you want. At the end of the day, they still get shit done. At the end of the day, Jose, and that's the one thing about the Kansas City Chiefs, that you can't put them down. But via talent wise, the other two teams are number 2 and number 1. I mean, I guess you could
Ravens,
guess one, yeah.
Easy, Ravens, Eagles.
Ravens and Eagles.
Man, when did it swing over? It was before the AFC was the best conference. Now it seems like there's more NFC in the top 10 than there is AFC. It's crazy.
I mean, the rise of the Commanders, that's one, right? The Lions and the NFC North and being
NFC
very
North
in general, that's another one. The NFC West, you really got to thank the 49ers for all those years of actually being really good, and Los Angeles Rams are going to 2 Super Bowls and winning one in that time period too as well. And then whatever you get out of the Seattle Seahawks, that's another one.
The South is going to be tough too. The Bucks being the Bucks, and then
I was going to say the Bucks are probably the only team I can see improving down south.
No,
it's probably the Carolina Panthers.
Don't sleep on the Falcons with now that you know they're going to start Penix,
Michael Penix Jr.
in the entire year, and you still have Bijan Robinson. That team's only getting better.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't sleep on them either.
You know what? It tends to happen where the tide turns from NFC to AFC, but real quick. But yeah, you only got what? 1, 2, 3. Only 3 teams in the top 10 that are AFC teams. All the rest are NFC teams. Three of them come from the NFC North. 1 from the NFC South, and 2 from the NFC East.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That it took a swing.
And next week we're going to have the most.
Talking about the AFC North and the AFC West.
Yes, and we're about to have the most meathead conversation next week. And literally, it's going to be next week on our next week's show. We are going to talk about NFL schedule.
We got to get John back. We got to plan this back. We got to get John back at least for this show, for this episode only.
We are going to have the most meathead conversation about losses and wins, where the Bears are going to go. What's up, Tony?
What up, Tony?
What's up? How many wins are the Bears are going to have? Yeah, it's miraculous. Yeah, it is. It is. We have, work schedule for us, so we're doing this on a Wednesday, but we'll do this next Tuesday. Wait, when does the schedule release anyways? Do you know? I got that right now.
Something about the 12th. Something about the 12th sounds right.
Promote our show on social media while I look this up.
Yeah, so next week we'll definitely, as long as the NFL schedule comes out before our show, we're definitely gonna go ahead and we're gonna have the win-loss record. We're gonna give our predictions as to what we think the Bears will do, which is, in my opinion, I think Eric agrees, one of the best shows we've had in a year, because that's when we really get to talk on our ass and talk shit to each other and really be ignorant.
Definitely ignorant. Yeah. All right, so it looks like next. Speaking of ignorance, I like Tony's answer.
Exactly. Good example right here, Tony. Good example.
I love it. So next week our show is going to be next Wednesday again, as the schedule comes out May 14th, which is next Wednesday. So we'll do the same time, same place, 7:30. A full hour of NFL schedule releases, a full hour of our predictions of how the Bears are going to do at this point, this time of day.
Well, yeah, we'll do it at 7:30. If we got to go longer, just because we don't know when we'll get the actual full schedule for the Bears.
It says the NFL release schedule is once my computer loads up. It just says May 14th. I want to say it's probably going to be at 6:00. Let me see. Keep going. Keep talking.
Hold on, because I was also going to check something. May 14th. I got to see if my son plays that game that day. What day is that? That's a
It'll be on the schedule release would be at 7 o'clock Central Time. They have Wednesday, May 14th, 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 p.m. our time. So
I bet, yeah, no, my son will, okay, yeah, we'll be on. That's perfect. Hey man.
It will be on. So next week we're gonna have a full hour of the schedule release here on the Windy City Rundown on the Bears, and we see if maybe like I said, 16-1. We already got our first prediction, and Tony says 16-1 for our Chicago Bears.
One baby.
Which would be crazy with that.
We'll be together. We'll be together that day for sure.
I lost my train of thought. So
we'll be together.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll be together. We'll be here. We'll try to see if we could bring back the trio again, and John, see if he could hop on next week Thursday, next week Wednesday at 7:30. But also, guys, not only we want John, but we also want you guys to join us too as well.
Please.
You know, we always copy the link here on our comment section. Join us that day too. Don't
be sorry, Tony. Wave that Bears flag, man. 16-1. Let's go.
16-1. You know, join us on our show. Join us on every podcast. Join us on the comment section. Join us via on the link here too as well to hop on and talk to us. We always give you guys a platform to say whatever you guys want to say. Something blasphemous, something very intelligent, something not even that smart. We allow every comment on our show, as long as it doesn't deal with anything major. But yeah, just hop on. We'll have this link up next week for you guys to join us. This is going to be a great show. It's literally one of our best shows for real of the schedule release when we have our win-loss schedules. I can already see Jose. Jose already has. If I would see Jose right now, I think he has the Bears at 11 wins.
No.
Yeah, I got it right on the button, baby.
I'm not. There's no way in hell. This schedule is way tougher than last year.
It's going to be tough as shit.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Well, it all depends on how the schedule is, to be honest.
Yeah, so 7 o'clock next week's show is going to be 7:30 here in the Windy City Rundown. We will have our show live as we give our predictions, one of our first 3 predictions of the NFL schedule, the very early release, and then we'll have one right before the season starts for our next week's show. So make sure you guys join us. Hit the little bell on our Facebook page just to get notified when our shows are live on all our platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, and also follow us on all our social media platforms too. It's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X, whatever. I don't know why I still call it Twitter, bro. Like I need to have a sheet of paper right here that just reminds me that it's not Twitter anymore. It's X. You know, it's something. It's forever going to be Twitter. Just like the Sears Tower will always be the Sears Tower. It's never going to change.
Facts.
You know, just like, you know, Dusable of Mitchell McHale of Lakeshore Drive will always be LSB. You know, like that, none of that shit's going to change for me, my guy.
For real.
None at all. Jose, this was a blast. Thank you for pissing me off, but also making me happy too at the same time. Not in a very good mood, but it is what it is. You know, I'll still support my boys to the end of the day.
Go Cubs, go.
It's already over. And then I just got an update that the Knicks once again are making a comeback on the on the Celtics.
I want the Knicks to win because their fans are fucking crazy.
And here's the final score: 91-90. They actually made the comeback and they actually completed it. They actually won.
They are wild. Those Knicks fans are wild.
That's your boy Tibbs. If only he could have done that here in Chicago.
He could have if Derrick Rose would have stayed healthy.
No. It's great. Yeah, the Knicks actually came back with another 20-pointer. They ended up winning 91-90, taking a 2-0 series lead. And the crazy part about it, they took a 2-0 series lead on the road. That's the most ridiculous part right there. That's the crazy part right there.
Against the defending champs.
That they're beating the defending champs on the road and taking a 2-0 lead back to New York. Oh, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be.
I don't know what's crazy. Them or the Indiana Pacers and Cleveland Cavaliers series also 2-0 with the Pacers. I mean, hey, yeah. It's a good week to be a Hoosier.
Right? I ain't gonna lie. I don't think the any of the home teams have won a game, right?
I haven't paid attention to the. Oh yeah, the Minnesota lost too, didn't they?
Minnesota. The Warriors beat the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
The Nuggets beat the Thunder.
Yeah.
Pacers. Yeah, dude. The home team has not won a game. Wow, that's
wild. It is wild.
That's crazy. Oh, I'm gonna love this. The NBA playoffs are actually cooking, and I'm enjoying it right now. I'm probably gonna watch.
Bro, honestly, I think I'm gonna watch too. Now that we know that LeBron's out, we're not gonna see his annoying bitch ass anymore. I think it's good to see that.
Yeah, you are lucky that CP wasn't here to hear that, man.
Because LeBron,
damn, respect. So this is wild. Right now, the Thunder and the Nuggets are on right now, 5-2 as the game just started. Probably gonna watch a little bit before I go to bed of that game right now on TNT. But yeah, we're gonna see if the Thunder can actually pull off the first win of the of the series at home, or the first home team to win, should I say? So
bitches out, exactly. See that, CP? Put that in your pipe and smoke it, buddy.
Oh, you guys are hilarious. You guys are funny. For Eric Avila, I'll be in a better mood next week. For Jose, Backlash. I will talk about it next week. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, wait. Well,
are you even excited for it?
Yeah, dude. I think it's gonna be a good card. I actually like the build better than they did at WrestleMania. I think this Backlash is gonna be a good card.
Pat McAfee beats Gunther?
No way. No. Gunther kills McAfee.
Jey Uso loses the title again?
No,
that quickly.
He's not even wrestling that card. It's the he's not wrestling that card. But John Cena definitely beats Orton.
That's the one. Sorry.
Yeah, he beats Orton.
Isn't there hold on. Let's do it. Keep talking.
Good card. Is it AJ Styles and Dominic? Do they wrestle that game or no? Am I tripping? Or is it Penta?
I'm going there right now. So obviously it's Cena and Orton.
Yeah, Cena wins.
Becky and Lyra.
That one's tough. I want Lyra to win, but I think Becky wins that one.
Becky Hogan making her appearance.
Yeah, Becky.
The Fatal 4-Way between Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest.
Fatu comes out on top. You don't put the title on my Mania to take him off in that Backlash. He wins that one
for sure.
You're damn right, Tony.
Pence and Dominic.
Dominic wins,
and then Gunther and Pat McAfee.
Gunther.
All right, cool. I already got that. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit for next week, but for sure, tune in for next week's show, guys, as we're going to talk as we go over our records for the Chicago Bears this upcoming season for the 2025-2026 season. As it comes out at 7 o'clock next week, we'll be on at 7:30. Same time, same place on Facebook and on YouTube. Guys, make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms. Like I said, subscribe on YouTube, hit the little bell on both channels to get notified when our shows are live. Again, 7:30, same time, same place. I'll be in a better mood. Jose will always keep his mood on top. As always, thank you very much. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, CP. Thank you, Sulu. Thank you, everybody, for hopping on our show today. Always like and love our shows. And as always, I got this. I will hit the outro. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
He's running like he's got a lobster down his pants, showing that he is as slippery as a bar of soap. Like poop through a diarrhea-infected goose.
Commented about it.
That's fine. I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take this serious.
I'm
real serious. I put my heart and soul into this every single week.
Are we done here?
It's about time.